In the endless blue of the Caribbean, where dreams float like whispers on the waves, an 18-year-old girl's light was snuffed out forever. Anna Kepner, a vibrant cheerleader from Titusville, Florida, boarded the Carnival Horizon for a family cruise full of promise, her final adventure before high school graduation and a future in the military. But on November 7, 2025 at exactly 11:17 a.m., in international waters off Cuba's shadow, she was found hidden under a bed in her cabin, wrapped in a blanket, shrouded by life vests meant for salvation. What began as a vacation turned into a nightmare of silence and suspicion. The medical examiner's verdict shattered the calm: homicide by mechanical asphyxia, inflicted by another's hands. As the FBI delves into surveillance shadows, swipe card secrets, and a fractured family's hidden fractures, a stepbrother emerges in the haze, his demons echoing like thunder. This is Anna's story, a tribute to her unyielding spirit, her laughter that lit rooms, and the love that now seeks justice amid the sea's unforgiving depths. But what rage boiled beneath the deck? Who silenced her final breath? Stay with us, the waves hold more. The ocean stretched like an endless black veil under a merciless November moon, its surface unbroken save for the rhythmic churn of propellers slicing through the night. Waves lapped against the hull of the Carnival Horizon, a floating palace of steel and secrets, carrying nearly 4,000 souls toward paradise, or peril. In the dim corridors below deck, air thick with the hum of hidden lives, a young woman lay still, her dreams tangled in the sheets of cabin 7423. No cry pierced the silence. No alarm shattered the illusion of serenity. Just the faint sway of the ship, rocking secrets into the abyss. Titusville, Florida, a quiet coastal gem on the Space Coast, where rocket trails streaked the sky like promises of escape, had always been Anna Kepner's anchor. Nestled between the Indian River lagoon's gentle ripples and the Atlantic's wild roar, the town cradles dreamers, its humid breezes carrying the scent of salt and possibility. Palm fronds rustle under golden sunsets, and high school fields echo with cheers that chase away the gathering dusk. But in this unassuming haven, where families gather for barbecues and stargazing, shadows linger in the cracks of blended lives. Court filings whisper of custody wars, hearts divided like the river's forks. Here, love fights fierce and secrets simmer beneath the surface calm. Anna knew this rhythm, the push and pull of tides in her own home, where step-siblings navigated uncharted waters, and parents' vows clashed like storm fronts. Yet, the air in Titusville hummed with hope, a place where an 18-year-old could still believe the horizon held only light. She was the girl who turned heads not with flash but with fire, a straight-A senior at Temple Christian School, her laughter a melody that danced on the wind. Anna Marie Kepner, born under Florida's relentless sun, embodied the unfiltered joy of youth. Cheerleader with a spirit that flipped the world right side up, her routines on the field were poetry in motion. High kicks slicing the air, pom-poms swirling like confetti in a dream. Off the mat, she was the one organizing beach bonfires, her voice rising above the crackle of flames to share stories of adventure. "The water calls to me," she'd say, eyes sparkling like bioluminescent waves, her love for the sea as deep as the lagoon she called home. Summers found her kayaking at dawn, slicing through misty channels where manatees glided like gentle ghosts, or diving into the surf, emerging with salt-kissed hair and a grin that defied gravity. Friends remember her playlists, upbeat anthems blasting from her phone as they piled into cars for impromptu road trips, windows down, wind whipping secrets into the rearview. But Anna was more than motion, she was mission. At 18, with graduation's cap just months away, her gaze fixed on the stars, or at least the stripes. She dreamed of the military, enlisting to serve, to protect the freedoms that let her spirit soar. Uniform crisp, boots polished, she'd imagined herself standing tall, a guardian against the dark. Her Instagram feed, a mosaic of cheer poses and ocean sunrises, hinted at this resolve. Captions like, "Chasing waves, chasing dreams," overlaid on photos of her in workout gear, sweat glistened and determined. Family albums captured her essence too, Thanksgiving tables where she'd lead toasts with bubbly toasts, her blue eyes, her favorite color, mirroring the sky. Birth mother Heather Wright, now in Oklahoma's quiet plains, recalled phone calls filled with giggles. "Mom, I want to make people laugh to light up their world." Anna's hugs were fierce, her empathy a quiet force, drawing in the lost like moths to her flame. She baked cookies for neighbors, volunteered at local shelters, her hand steady as she bandaged a stray dog's paw, whispering, "You're safe now." In a world quick to dim young lights, Anna burned bright, a tribute to resilience, her heart a compass pointing true north. Yet, beneath this glow, the family tapestry frayed at the edges. Christopher Kepner, her father, a man weathered by life's gales, had rebuilt after storms of his own. Remarried to Chantel Hudson, the union brought step-siblings into the fold, children navigating the awkward dance of new bonds. Court records, sealed in the hush of legal chambers, paint a portrait of tension. Custody battles where visitation rights clashed like thunderheads, accusations flying like debris in a squall. Anna, caught in the current, yearned for unity, her texts to siblings laced with olive branches, "Family's our anchor, let's sail together." Her biological brother, a shadow in the story, shared her quiet strength, while the stepbrother, 16 on the cusp of manhood, carried an unseen weight. Grandparents Jeffrey and Barbara Kepner, pillars of unwavering love, doted on her from afar, their home a sanctuary of stories swapped over coffee. Jeffrey's tales of fishing hauls met with Anna's wide-eyed wonder. "She was our spark," Barbara would later murmur, voice cracking like waves on rock. This blended clan with its undercurrents of strife, boarded the horizon seeking solace. A 5-night escape from New Orleans to Cozumel, Grand Cayman, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios and back. Ports of call promising turquoise idols, where worries dissolve in rum punches and steel drum songs. For Anna, it was a rite, her last hurrah before the world widened, a chance to mend threads with those she held dear. Little did she know, the ship carried more than luggage, buried resentments, unspoken storms ready to break. As the Carnival Horizon cast off from New Orleans on November 3, 2025, the air buzzed with anticipation. The port's chaos faded into the Gulf's embrace, families waving from decks, confetti raining like fleeting joys. Anna, in a sundress the shade of her beloved blue, leaned against the rail, wind tousling her ponytail as Mexico's silhouette teased the horizon. Early days unfolded in postcard perfection, snorkeling in Cozumel's coral gardens where she floated weightless, fish darting like confetti around her. Laughter echoed in Grand Cayman's stingray encounters, her squeals of delight piercing the splash as she fed the graceful creatures from tentative fingertips. Montego Bay's Dunn's River Falls saw her climbing hand-in-hand with siblings, water cascading like nature's applause, bonds seemingly tightening in the spray. Ocho Rios bamboo-lined paths wound through her photos, her arms slung around her stepbrother's shoulder, grins wide under tropical canopies. Evenings blurred into buffets of laughter, deck parties where she twirled under string lights, her energy pulling even the quiet ones into the rhythm. Texts home glowed, "This is magic, Mom, waves and family can't ask for more." Christopher watched her bloom, pride swelling like the sails of old clippers, while Chantel snapped candids, capturing Anna's unscripted joy. Grandparents Jeffrey and Barbara, silver-haired sentinels, shared knowing smiles over piña coladas, Jeffrey quipping, "She's the captain of our hearts." The ship itself, a behemoth of buffets and balconies, hummed with oblivious revelry, cabins aglow, pools rippling under stars. No one glimpsed the fracture lines, a sidelong glance at dinner, a hushed argument muffled by engine drone. Anna, ever the peacemaker, diffused with jokes, her voice a bomb, "Hey, let's make memories, not mountains." But as the horizon turned homeward on November 6, slicing through waters off Jamaica, a subtle chill crept in. The sea darkened, clouds smudging the sky like forewarnings. In cabin 7423, shared with her stepbrother, Anna retired early, a faint unease shadowing her steps. The family dispersed to evening shows, unaware that the night's hush would swallow her whole. November 7 dawned with deceptive calm, the ship plowing toward Florida's embrace, Cuba's outline a distant smudge on the starboard bow. Breakfast hour ticked by in the Lido deck's clamor, plates clinking, coffee steaming, families chattering over omelets and ocean views. Christopher scanned the crowd, fork pausing midair. "Where's Anna?" The question hung, innocuous at first, rippling outward like a stone in still water. Chantel checked her phone, no texts. Siblings shrugged, last seen her heading to the cabin after dinner the night before, claiming a headache, craving rest. "She'll turn up," Jeffrey offered, voice steady but eyes scanning the horizon. But minutes stretched into worry's web. They combed the decks, poolside loungers empty, gym mirrors reflecting absence, arcade lights flashing to vacant seats. Whispers grew, had she wandered to the spa lost in a book? Or slipped to the prom deck for solitary stargazing? Panic's first tendril coiled as crew radios crackled faintly overhead. Back in cabin 7423, the air hung heavy, curtains drawn against the midday glare. A maid, keycard in hand, pushed the door open at 11 a.m., cartwheels squeaking like hesitant confessions. The room seemed untouched, beds made, toiletries aligned, a half-empty water bottle on the nightstand. But as she bent to tidy, a corner of blanket protruded oddly from under the frame, lumpy, wrong. Heart stuttering, she knelt, fingers trembling as she lifted the edge. There, in the dust-rimmed shadows, lay Anna, curled fetal, wrapped tight in a throw from the couch, her form partially obscured by crumpled life vests, the very ones meant to buoy souls in crisis. Blue lips, bruised shadows blooming on her neck like storm clouds, eyes forever closed to the light she chased. Time froze at 11:17 a.m., the medical log etching eternity into paper. Alarms wailed softly, crew converging like ghosts in the corridor. Christopher's world tilted as word raced deckward. His daughter, hidden, silenced. The ship, once a vessel of joy, became a tomb adrift, its secrets sealed in international swells. What hand had pressed the life from her throat? Why veil her in symbols of rescue? As the horizon limped toward Port Miami, the family shattered, Chantel invoking silence, stepbrother's gaze averted, grandparents' prayers a fragile net against grief's tide. Anna's light, so fiercely kind, extinguished not by wave or whim, but by betrayal's cold grip. This was no accident. This was the beginning of unraveling, a tribute to the girl who deserved oceans of tomorrows, now owed the fierce pursuit of truth. But in the FBI's shadowed files, the first threads pull taut, a swipe card silent log, a camera's frozen frame. Who entered that cabin in the night's hush? The sea knows, and it never forgets. Precious listeners, your presence here honors Anna's memory, a gentle wave carrying her story forward. In this dance of shadows and light, thank you for lending your ears, your hearts, to the truths we chase together. You're the spark that keeps this flame alive, beautiful souls, woven into this journey's fabric. To grow our haven of hidden stories, subscribe now, share with one kindred spirit who craves the unseen. Let us rise as one, turning whispers into waves. Your obedience to this call blooms justice's garden. Thank you eternally. The Carnival Horizon cut through the Caribbean like a blade through silk, its decks alive with the oblivious pulse of vacation, steel drums fading into laughter, slot machines chiming hollow victories. But below, in the labyrinth of cabins and corridors, the air turned leaden, heavy with the residue of a scream swallowed whole. Life vests, orange beacons of hope, lay discarded like mocking talismans, their straps tangled in a desperate bid to conceal what could not be hidden. Bruises bloomed faint on pale skin, fingerprints of fury etched in purple hush. The maid's gasp lingered, a ghost in the vents whisper as medics swarmed, their faces masks of practiced calm cracking at the edges. No pulse. No breath. Just the ship's indifferent sway, rocking the unthinkable into reality. International waters stretched boundless, a no-man's realm where laws blurred like horizon lines, and justice arrived not on sirens but on federal wings. Port Miami sprawl loomed on November 8, 2025, a concrete jungle under Florida's unyielding sun, cranes clawing the sky like skeletal fingers. The horizon docked with mechanical precision, gangways extending like hesitant bridges to the shore. But amid the debarking throng, sunburned families hauling suitcases, hawkers peddling trinkets. A black body bag rolled solemnly down the ramp, flanked by stone-faced agents and windbreakers stamped with the FBI's eagle. Christopher Kepner stood frozen at the rail's ghost, his daughter's absence a void sucking the color from the world. Chantel hovered nearby, arms crossed like barriers, her minor children, eyes downcast, clinging to the edges of unraveling normalcy. The stepbrother, 16 and shadowed by youth's fragile armor, shuffled in silence, his backpack slung low as if to anchor fleeing thoughts. Grandparents Jeffrey and Barbara, hands clasped in prayer's vice, watched the procession with eyes hollowed by betrayal's first sting. "She was our joy," Jeffrey murmured to the wind, voice fracturing like glass underfoot. The family splintered then, boarding vans to Titusville's embrace, while the ship, cleared for its next voyage, sailed on, scrubbed of its stain but scarred beneath the polish. The FBI's Miami field office, a fortress of fluorescent hum and filing cabinets stuffed with maritime ghosts, became ground zero. Agents, seasoned in the sea's deceptions, pored over manifests. Anna's ticket tied to her father's, cabin shared in familial thrift. No strangers loomed in passenger logs. This wound festered from within. Cruise Vessel Security and Safety Act mandates flickered on screens, reporting protocols for assaults, but death's gray zone demanded deeper dives. Interviews commenced in sterile rooms, crew recounting the maid's tremor, her broken English laced with horror. Under the bed, like hiding treasure but wrong. Passengers, summoned from scattered homes, recalled glimpses, Anna's blue sundress fluttering at dinner on the 6th, her plate half-touched, words soft with fatigue. I'm not feeling great, gonna crash early. Siblings nodded in unison but cracks showed, the stepbrothers fidget, a glance too quick to the floor. Chantel lawyered up, offered clipped accounts, family time. Nothing amiss. Yet her ex-husband's custody filings unsealed in the frenzy, spilled bile, allegations of neglect, supervised visits clashing with Christopher's remarriage. Anna, the bridge, had navigated these wars with texts of hope, but now her phone, seized, its screen a frozen portal, held fragments. Late-night pings unanswered, a group chat's forced cheer. Surveillance feeds unspooled in montage horror, grainy ghosts haunting monitors. Hallway cams captured the cabin doors yawn at dusk on the 6th. Anna entering alone, ponytail swinging like a metronome of innocence. Minutes later, the stepbrother's silhouette, lanky, hooded, slipped in, keycard beeping compliance. No exit until dawn's creep, when he emerged disheveled, eyes darting like cornered prey. Swipe data corroborated. His card, hers, a lock's unwitting witness. No forced entry marred the frame. Betrayal wore a familiar face. Agents leaned closer, timestamps etching alibis in binary. 10:45 p.m. door seals. 6:23 a.m. it yields again. What passed in those hours? The cabin's confines, 8 by 10 feet of carpeted cage, offered no escape, walls papered in tropical lies. Forensic techs, gloves sheathed in latex prayer, vacuumed fibers. Blanket threads matching the couch, life vest straps bearing skin cells not her own. Bruises on her neck, thumb-shaped sentinels, whispered of struggle, nails raking air, a muffled plea lost to engine roar. Toxicology cleared the haze. No drugs, no alcohol, just the purity of a body betrayed. The medical examiner's slab in Miami-Dade confirmed the hour, 11:17 a.m., rigor setting like concrete as the maid intruded. But the how nod, mechanical asphyxia, a clinical veil for horror. Sources murmured of a bar hold, arm across throat, pressure unrelenting, veins starving for air. No sexual traces defiled her. This was rage, raw and intimate, not lust's shadow. Back in Titusville, grief's tide swelled. Temple Christian's halls, once alive with Anna's cheers, fell silent, her locker a shrine of pom-poms and notes. We love you, fly high. Balloons bobbed on her parked car outside, blue ribbons fluttering like trapped breaths, flowers wilting under relentless sun. Heather Wright, birth mother exiled to Oklahoma's dust, paced her kitchen, phone clutched like a lifeline. The FBI hasn't called, not a word, she told reporters, voice a whip crack of fury. My girl loved the water, made everyone smile. Who steals that? Christopher, hollow-cheeked sentinel, fielded questions from his porch, the lagoon's lap a cruel echo. She was excited, our last trip before she shipped out. Chantel's silence deepened, her attorney's motion sealing lips. Continuance sought in custody court, citing sensitive circumstances. The ex-husband's plea for delay spilled the first leak. A minor implicated, charges looming like storm squalls. Whispers rippled through Titusville's veins, grocery lines buzzing, church pews leaning close. That boy, troubled, a neighbor confided, eyes on the river. Fights at school, moods like thunder. No names yet, but the stepbrother's shadow lengthened. Hospitalized post-voyage, per filings, dehydration, the veil for deeper unrest. Barbara Kepner, grandmother with steel in her spine, broke bread with reporters, tears carving rivers on lined cheeks. Anna was light. He carried demons we couldn't name. Jeffrey nodded, fishing rod idle by the dock. Saw it in his eyes on the ship, darkness flickering. The probe's machinery ground on, relentless as tide. FBI divers plumbed the ship's logs. Deleted footage from key angles, a glitch Carnival swore was routine, but agents smelled cover's salt. Passenger interviews yielded shards. A late-night sighting of raised voices from 7423, muffled through vents, stop please, dismissed as lovers' quarrel. Crew logs noted the stepbrothers' wanderings. Bar tabs underage, a solo deck prowl at 2 a.m., eyes glassy with unspoken storm. Phone dumps revealed texts. Anna's plea at 10:32 p.m., talk tomorrow, unanswered. His reply deleted but recovered, a curt whatever. Family dynamics unfurled like sails in gale. Christopher's remarriage a flashpoint, Chantel's brood a powder keg. Court docs from her prior union screamed red flags. Contempt motions, supervised access, whispers of unstable environments. Anna, ever the fixer, had mediated, emails to counselors, he's family, help him. but helps delay birth monsters. As agents mapped the timeline, pressure mounted, subpoenas fanning to therapists, school records painting the stepbrothers' portrait. Expulsions for aggression, demons as Barbara termed them, raging unchecked. No arrest yet, but handcuffs chill hovered, juvenile courts stirring in Miami's underbelly. The Horizon, rechristened for revelers, sailed anew, but its decks whispered Anna's name in the rails creak. Titusville mourned in waves. Vigils at the high school, candles flickering against the dark, blue ribbons tying hearts in solidarity. Heather arrived by red eye, embracing Christopher in a hug that bridged old divides. For her, she whispered. Friends gathered at the lagoon, releasing lanterns that bobbed like souls unbound, Anna's playlist, upbeat echoes, wafting over water. She'd want us dancing, one sobbed, pom-poms clutched like relics. But beneath the tributes, fury simmered. Petitions demanding transparency, #Justice for Anna trending in coastal feeds. The FBI's veil thinned, pressers promised, but silence reigned, fueling speculation's fire. Was it a family feud boiled over, resentment's blade in the night? Or deeper malice, the stepbrothers' demons, unleashed in confined fury? Clues piled like driftwood. A missing necklace, Anna's favorite, a silver anchor, symbol of her dreams, vanished from the cabin. His hoodie, fibers matching the blanket's weave. As the sun dipped low over the space coast, casting long shadows on the river, one truth anchored. Anna's kindness, her unyielding light, deserved reckoning. The investigation's gears turned, but gaps yawned, motives murky heart, a timeline's elusive beat. What words passed in that cabin's hush? The sea guards its confessions, but land's justice hungers. And in the quiet hours as agents replayed the feeds, a single frame froze. The door cracking at midnight, a silhouette retreating, whose shadow fled the light. Surveillance screens flickered like distant lightning in the FBI's warren of rooms, each pixel a potential thunderclap in the gathering storm. Timestamps marched inexorably. 10:45 p.m. November 6th. Cabin door seals with a soft beep, sealing fates in steel. Inside 7423, the air thickened, recycled breaths mingling with tension's tang. Anna, head pounding from dinner's unease, slipped into pajamas, the fabric soft against skin still warm from deck sun. She scrolled her phone, thumb pausing on military recruitment sites, dreams flickering in blue light. A knock, soft, insistent. The door yielded to her stepbrother's frame, his knock a courtesy masking intent. "Can't sleep?" she asked, voice laced with sister's concern, patting the bunk's edge. He slumped beside, words tumbling halting. School's weight, family's fractures, demons clawing from within. Anna listened as always, her empathy a lifeline tossed into his roil. "We're in this together," she murmured, hand on his shoulder, light in the dim. But his gaze darkened, resentment's tide surging. Whispers of favoritism, custody's barbs piercing deep. Arguments ignited slow, short sentences slicing air. "You don't get it," he snapped, voice rising like a swell. Her retreat, palms up, placating. "Hey, breathe, we're family." The push came sudden, arm barring her throat in a hold born of fury's forge, not play but pressure, veins compressing like crushed shells. Struggle bloomed, nails grazing, legs kicking duvet to disarray. Muffled pleas dissolved in choke, her blue eyes widening in betrayal's glare. Minutes stretched eternal, life ebbing in silent waves, until stillness claimed her. Panic's aftershock, his hands fumbling blanket, life vests dragged from closet like shrouds, body dragged to shadow under bed. Door beeps at 6:23 a.m. He flees to dawn's anonymity, face ashen, secret sealed in sweat. The family breakfast congealed into nightmare's prelude, Lido decks chatter a mocking chorus. Christopher sipped coffee, scanning for her smile. Overslept, probably, Chantel ventured, fork-scraping plate. Siblings echoed, but unease coiled, stepbrother's plate untouched, eyes fixed on foam-flecked sea. Search parties formed ad hoc. Decks scoured, elevators pinged, crew paged her name over speakers that crackled like dry leaves. Whispers spread, "Missing girl, check the rails." But the cabin held the horror, maid's cart heralding revelation. Medic's radio spat codes, code blue too late, while the ship altered course not a degree, protocol chaining it to schedule. Port Miami's dawn broke harsh, gangway lights glaring on the bag's zippered finality. Agents swarmed post-dock, windbreakers snapping in breeze off Biscayne Bay, sealing the vessel in yellow tape's embrace. Interviews cascaded, Christopher's raw grief, "My baby, how?" Chantel's measured calm cracking under questions of routines. The stepbrother, juvenile shield invoked, spoke through counsel. It was an accident, wrestling gone wrong, but inconsistencies piled, times mismatched, alibis evaporating like mist. Grandparents' accounts steadied the storm, Barbara's quiet fury, we saw the signs, his rages unchecked. Jeffrey's nod, Anna tried to save him always. Forensic alchemy unfolded in lab's sterile glow, evidence bagged like captured ghosts. Blanket fibers clung tenacious, DNA threading to his hoodie left in haste. Life vest straps bore epithelials, hers mingled in struggle's sweat. Neck contusions mapped a bar hold's arc, pressure points screaming intent, no slip of accident. Toxicology's verdict clean, her body pure, his not, traces of underage spirits from bar logs, judgment fogged. Phone extractions yielded daggers, deleted thread, his stay out of it at 10:15 p.m., her please talk to dad. Cabin vacuums haul, a single earring, hers, snapped in frenzy, rolling to corners dust. No weapon marred the scene, just hands, youths twisted by neglect's neglect. Custody files, subpoenaed deep, unveiled the rot. Chantel's ex decrying unstable home, incidents of violence redacted but rumored, fists on walls, shouts shattering nights. Anna's journals, seized from Titusville, bled heart, entries of mediation, he needs help before he breaks us all. Counselor's notes corroborated, sessions skipped, demons diagnosed but untreated, a powder keg on the horizon's fuse. The FBI's net tightened, ripples reaching shores. Subpoenas winged to therapists, stepbrother's file, a litany of warnings, aggression spikes, risk to self and others. School deans coughed up logs. Altercations hushed, grades tumbling like anchors. Carnival's cooperation soured subtle, footage gaps, explained as maintenance, but agents smelled varnish on truth. Passenger affidavits trickled. A neighbor cabin's tremor at midnight, bed frames thump against wall, dismissed as seasick heave. Crew whispers, his solo bar haunts, tales of moody kid rebuffing advances. Chantel's invocation of the fifth in custody court, November 19th hearing delayed, screamed volumes, attorney's plea, client cleared but trauma binds. Ex-husband's counter, protect the innocent, before another falls. Titusville's pulse quickened, protests at port, blue-clad marchers chanting Anna's name, placards demanding no more silences. Heather Wright's cross-country fury fueled pressers. My daughter bridged worlds, don't let her grave be another secret. Christopher's porch vigils drew crowds, lanterns lit for her unlived days, military oaths unspoken, waves unkayaked. Pressure crested as juvenile whispers peaked, charges brewing, manslaughter's shadow or worse, intense blade honed. Barbara's interview pierced veils. He had demons, dark eyes on the ship like possession. When questioned he crumbled, words tumbling false. Jeffrey's addendum, Anna forgave easy, we mustn't. But forgiveness warred with justice's call, family fracturing further. Chantel retreating to silence's fortress, Christopher's pleas for unity echoing hollow. The probe's breakthroughs mounted, recovered deletion from his phone, a search at 5:47 a.m., how to hide a body, panic's digital footprint. Timeline locked, entry at 10:42 struggles inferred arc, concealment by 4 a.m. motive crystallized in fragments, resentments brew, custody's theft of stability, Anna's poise a mirror to his chaos. No sexual veil, thank the depths, just sibling strife metastasized unchecked till fatal bloom. As November's chill nipped Florida's warmth, agents circled, arrest warrant drafting, juvenile court's gavel poised. The horizon's next voyage mocked from afar, decks dancing oblivious, but Anna's spirit lingered in rail's sigh. Titusville's tributes swelled, memorial at Grove Church, November 20th, blue sea of mourners, her cheer uniform draped on pews. Songs she loved, ocean anthems, swelled, tears salting the air. Friends vowed, her light guides us. But gaps nod, why no intervention, demons unchained? The family's mosaic, once Anna's glue, splintered irreparable, Heather and Christopher allying in grief, Chantel's orbit dimming. Justices will turn slow, but inexorable, promising charges by month's end. Yet, in the quiet, a question lingered, could words have doused the flame before it consumed? The investigation's heart pulsed on, but one thread dangled, his full confession locked in counsel's vault. What words would break the sea's spell? Beautiful wanderers of the unseen, your devotion to Anna's echo touches the stars she chased. In this tapestry of truth and tribute, thank you for holding space, for letting her story breathe through your silence. You're the gentle current carrying us onward, kindred lights in the fog. To nurture this channel's bloom, where hidden waves crash free, subscribe and share with a soul who seeks the depths. Together we honor her by amplifying what was stolen. Your grace in this act weaves eternity, bless you deeply. November's salt wind whipped through Port Miami's sprawl, carrying the faint tang of diesel and despair as the FBI's net drew inexorable. Conference rooms, walls papered in timelines and suspect boards, hummed with the low growl of printers spitting affidavits. Anna's photo, smiling fierce in cheer regalia, pinned at center, her blue eyes a silent jury. Agents circled evidence like sharks scenting blood. The blankets weaved life vests damning drape, necks map of malice. Juvenile protocols tempered the storm. Interviews soft-gloved, but truths clawed free. The stepbrother, holed in a foster interim post-hospital dehydration, faced the mirror at last, counsel crumbling under weight of forensics, his narrative shifting from accident to admission's edge. It was quick. Anger took me, fragments leaked to handlers, demons named in sobs. Motive's core cracked open, custody's venom, Anna's unintended witness to his spiral, her peacemaking pleased the spark to powder. No grand conspiracy, just fracture's fatal snap. A hold meant to silence argument, not life. Charges loomed, manslaughter in juvenile veil, but homicide's shadow clung, intense ghost in every bruise. The family's unraveling played out in Titusville's hushed corners, grief's currents pulling disparate shores. Christopher, anchor adrift, paced the lagoon's edge, rod forgotten, memories surfacing like bubbles from depths. She planned our fishing trips, post-graduation, she said. Heather, Oklahoma's distance bridged by flight, arrived fists clenched, joint pressers with X, demands for Chantel's full light. No more shadows, Anna deserved transparency. Chantel, fortress breached, emerged tear-streaked November 22nd, attorney's arm a crutch. My son. Troubled, yes, but we sought help. Custody courts erupted, motions flying, seals shattered, ex-husband's contempt plea weaponized. This home breeds danger, prove it safe or forfeit. Barbara and Jeffrey, elders in the gale, hosted kin at their dockside haven, blue lanterns swaying. Stories of Anna's dives, her manatee whispers, weaving tribute from tatters. Siblings splintered, one biological brother vowing her military path, the other steps in guilt's fog. Vigils multiplied, Space Coast beaches strung with ribbons, cheers echoed in empty fields, her routines danced by ghosts in blue. Hashtag Justice for Anna surged, petitions cresting petitions. Carnival lobbied for footage full, FBI pressed for pressers. The ship's gaps yielded under warrant. Restored cams showing his retreat at 4:17 a.m., hands ringing like confession. Breakthroughs cascaded like falls in Montego. Phone pings triangulating his post-struggle deck haunt. Salt air, no alibi for bloodshot eyes. Therapist's vaults pride. Untreated rage, demons rooted in divorces quake, sessions dodged like lifelines. School shadows, fights veiled as rough play, counselors' warnings to Chantel, intervene now, buried in busyness. Carnival's logs coughed accomplices unwitting. Bartenders noting his taps, kid with edge alone. Passenger mosaics pieced. A couple's midnight pass by, door ajar, murmurs escalating to thump. Forensics final verdict, November 24th. Asphyxia confirmed, bar holds biomechanics irrefutable. No fall, no mishap, just hands halting breath. Toxicology's echo. His system laced with purloined spirits, judgment drowned. The cabin's secrets spilled. Earring recovered in vent, anchor necklace pawned hasty post-port, desperation's glint. Juvenile grand jury stirred November 25th, whispers of indictment. Second-degree intense burden on youth's frame. Agent's pressure peaked. Interrogation marathons, his facade fracturing. Full account tumbling, accidents lie dissolving in details acid. She fought. I panicked. Family confronted in mediated hush. Chantel's collapse. I missed the signs. Christopher's roar. For her, truth. Heather's steel. No mercy's cloak, charge him. Titusville's heart, once steady, raced with reckoning's drum. Memorials morphed to rallies. Grove Church packed anew, sermons on light's persistence, Anna's uniform borne like banner. Friends' testimonies flooded in, her interventions for him. He's hurting, be kind. But kindness's limit drawn. Petitions for reform, cruise lines safety nets, blended homes hidden mines. FBI's veil lifted fraction. Presser teased December, active, arrests imminent. Carnival statement, scripted tight. Cooperation complete, prayers for healing. But lawsuits brewed in wake. Negligence's hook, footage fumbles as bait. The stepbrothers' isolation deepened. Foster cell, psych evals probing demon's lair, path to rehab or bars forked sharp. Grandparents' vigil held. Barbara's garden planted with blue hydrangeas, her favorite, growth from pain. Jeffrey's boat renamed Anna's Light, sails catching winds she loved. Blended bonds, tested to snap, showed resilience's thread. Christopher and Heather's alliance, Chantel's outreach tentative. Justice's machinery whirred, but human cost tallied high. Nights sleepless, days dimmed, Anna's absence a constant undertow. As indictments' ink dried, the probe's crescendo built. Evidence sealed, witnesses locked, narrative forged unyielding. No twists veered to outsiders. The fracture was familial, intimate as blood. Tributes swelled global. Space Coast to social scrolls, her TikToks replayed, cheers eternal, waves crashing in loops. But in quiet coves, questions lapped. Could earlier hands, therapists heated, court stricter, have damned the rage? The stepbrother's face, once boyish, hardened in mug's glare, demons caged but not slain. Family's mosaic, reforged in fire, bore cracks eternal. Love's labor now justice's watch. November closed on Florida's edge, solstice chill hinting winter's bite, but Anna's warmth lingered in memory's hearth. The investigation, tribute's engine, propelled toward closure. Charges filed, trial's distant thunder. Yet, one echo resounded. Her spirit, unbroken, demanded not vengeance but vigilance, for the next light teetering on the brink. In the FBI's final sift, a recovered voice note from her phone, timestamped 10:30 p.m., family's messy but worth it. Worth it? The question hung unanswered as cuffs clicked in the dawn. December's first light crept over the Space Coast, painting the lagoon in hues of reluctant gold, as Justice's gavel hovered like a blade mid-fall. The FBI's Miami bastion, walls scarred by cases past, exhaled its verdict. Indictment sealed, juvenile chambers echoing with charges, second-degree homicide, intent woven through forensics' iron thread. The stepbrother, demons leashed in cuffs' cold kiss, faced transfer to youth facility, psych wards waiting to dissect the rage that birthed this void. Guilty, his plea whispered November 28, counsel's nod sealing surrender. No trial spectacle, just system's quiet grind. Sentencing loomed January, manslaughter's weight tempered by age, but prison's shadow long, rehab mandated, society's safeguard against relapse. Chantel, shattered pillar, sold the family home December 2nd, Titusville's whispers chasing her to anonymity's coast. For healing, she told a lone reporter, voice a husk. Christopher retained custody of biological kin, Heather's Oklahoma arms open wide, Anna's legacy, strength unbroken. Grandparents' dock became shrine, blue bottles catching sun, wind chimes tolling her name in breezes sigh. Aftermath's ripples scarred deep, Titusville's fabric rent and rewoven. Temple Christian's graduation, May 2026, hollow without her cap, empty seat draped in blue, cheers fading to sob. Friends enlisted in her stead, military oaths sworn with her photo pinned, for Anna, guardian eternal. The lagoon, her sanctuary, hosted annual dives. Kayaks launched at dawn, manatees gliding tribute. Hashtag Justice for Anna evolved to hashtag Anna's Watch. Advocacy's wave, lobbying Crews Act amendments. Mandatory counseling logs, cabin cams unblinking. Carnival settled suits swift, millions to family, protocols pledged. Youth safety modules, swipe alerts for solos. But dollars dimmed beside loss. Christopher's nights haunted by what-ifs, fishing rod a relic of unlived plans. Heather's memoir brood, waves of a daughter. Pages of laughter, lessons, love's fierce hold. Chantel's silence broke in therapy circles. I failed them both. Steps toward amends, letters penned to kin. The stepbrother's path forked to redemption's edge. Journals mandated, demons journaled to dust, but scars etched permanent. Letters to Anna's grave, forgive my storm. Communities healing bloomed tentative. Vigils to festivals, blue-themed fundraisers for at-risk youth. Counseling grants in her name, Anna's Light Initiative. Grove Church's pews, once grief's cradle, hosted talks. Blended families navigation, red flags early cry. Barbara tended hydrangeas, blooms defiant, she grows through us. Jeffrey's boat ferried groups, tales of her splashes shared over lines cast wide. Biological brother's enlistment, fall 2026, bore her anchor necklace, recovered from pawn's regret, talisman against depths. Social scrolls, once frenzy's fire, settled to remembrance. TikToks remixed her cheers, oceans crashing in eternal loop. FBI's closure file, redacted reams, leaked lessons. Interventions delay the cost of ignored warnings. No villains cartooned, just humans flawed, systems strained, a girl's light the casualty. Justice, partial as tides, brought cuffs but not revival. Her breath's theft irrevocable but memories tied unrelenting. Reflections settled like silt. Anna's essence, unquenched, a beacon for the frayed. Her laughter echoed in winds off Cozumel, her resolve in Space Coast sunrises. Families reforged, vowed vigilance, custody reforms pushed, therapy's net widened. The horizon sailed on, cabins rechristened, but 7423's plaque whispered caution. Tribute's true arc, not vengeance's blaze but prevention's steady glow, schools screening rages, ships scanning souls. Heather's final words to press, she made us laugh, love deeper, let that be her forever. Christopher's dockside toast, to waves unbroken. In this, Anna lived, kindness is current, pulling others from undertow. The sea, vast and veiled, claims many secrets. But Anna Kepner's? It yields to light, her anchor eternal in our depths. Rest now, sweet dreamer, your story sails on. Dearest companions in this shadowed voyage, your steadfast hearts have cradled Anna's flame through every crest and trough. Thank you for journeying with such grace, for honoring her with your unwavering gaze. You are the beautiful tide that lifts us all, pure, persistent, profound. To etch this channel deeper into the waves, where truths like hers find voice eternal, subscribe and share with one who hungers for the hidden. Together we tribute her by building bridges over silences. Your devotion obeys the heart's quiet call, thank you with souls entwined.